the Pitt Challenge Hackathon, Corian Health Incorporated. So she's an alumni, she's a winner, 2 years, and she loves dogs.
All right, take it away.
All right, thank you so much for that introduction. Are my slides next on here?
Your slides are next.
Okay, cool. Is this connected to it?
Should be.
Okay, cool. Thank you all so much for being here. So, as Colby mentioned, my name is Anna Lee. I am the CEO and founder of Corian Health, which started at last year's Pitt Challenge Hackathon. And I'm also an MD PhD student at the University of Pittsburgh and Carnegie Mellon. So whenever I introduce myself like that, I get a lot of people saying that, like, wow, you must be so smart. And my response is always, well, thank you, but that's actually a very common misconception. I'm actually quite dumb, as my mother will attest to. Any of my friends would also probably agree that if you look at the normal distribution of my intelligence, most of it is pretty low IQ. But somehow I've gotten to this point where people seem to think I'm smart. Therefore, I will say I am the living example that anyone can be brilliant. I think all you really need is a strategy. So I'm going to tell you a little bit about my strategy today, and hopefully some of it can apply to your life as well. So this is my strategy. Can you please raise your hand if you recognize this map? Okay, excellent. My own people are in the room. So, for those who don't recognize it, it is the Summoner's Rift from League of Legends. It's a popular video game. They recently started a TV show. I was addicted back in the old days when they didn't have a TV show yet. Yes, I was a little bit addicted to this game in high school, much to my mother's disappointment. Well, she's still disappointed, but this was one of the bigger disappointments. I would sometimes not come down for dinner because I was playing. Anyway, but the nice thing is, I realized as I got older that League of Legends actually really influenced me, and I apply the same strategies I used during League to my research today. So also I'm not getting paid by Riot Games or anything, this is a real story. So how League of Legends works, if you haven't played before, is you play a magical champion, you're on a team of 5 people and you're competing against another team, and you start in this kind of lower corner, so you are here on this map. And then you're trying to go upward, and this is the enemy's base, and you want to capture their nexus. The nexus is the base. So with those words, I've already outlined the first thing you need to know, which is that you need to know what your goals are. So you need to have a goal to go toward. So I know we talked about my startup, but actually in real life, I have done cystic fibrosis research for 11 years. My best friend from high school has cystic fibrosis, so I've bounced around between all different strategies of trying to find a cure for her. For those who don't know, it is a genetic lung disease. It causes a buildup of mucus and bacteria in your lungs. So that's the analogy I'll use for this talk. Could also probably apply to my startup. But anyways, first thing is set your goal. There's many wonderful tracks that have been outlined by our wonderful organizers. So you can pick any of those, or pick a different one, I guess. All right, so the second thing is, this is a pretty complicated battlefield. I haven't shown all the details here, but there's actually monsters and like lakes and turrets you gotta capture. But this actually applies to cystic fibrosis because with a genetic disease, you got like many tracks, right? So there's multiple ways to get to the same solution. If my goal is to cure CF, I can either go the genetic route or go through lung physiology or go through infection control to control the bacterial infections. And there isn't one right way to do this, but what I will say is every time I have had an innovative idea, it's from connecting 2 fields. So for example, if you connect genetics and physiology, you might get gene or cell therapy. If you connect physiology and infection control, you might get like a blueprint for how to use antibiotics or phage therapy. But you can't know what you don't know, right? So in League of Legends, this is called the fog of war. In the actual game, it looks like that. So you can only see things if they're part of your territory, or if they're in like your map of your reality, or if your teammate is there. You can also see things if you place vision wards, but I'm digressing and going to my League strategy. The point being that I think it's great for everyone to try and diversify your own thought process. So there you go, know the battlefield, know what you're getting yourself into. As mentioned, I'm a medical school student, but I do mostly research and innovation. The reason I went to medical school is because after doing stem cell research and antibiotic resistance research for 7 years, I realized I didn't know the battlefield. The battlefield is the human body. So any undergrads out there, feel free to let me know if you want to talk about med school. I'm a big proponent of the knowing the unmet needs in medicine in order to direct where you want to innovate. Okay, but I also mentioned that it doesn't have to be all you. You can choose your teammates. So in League of Legends, you're on a 5-person team, unless you play a different version. We could play that too. Anyway, so you have 5 people, and the good teams will diversify their teams. It took me like a year to learn this, but I think I finally got it. So you can like have a magic type character that goes mid lane. I always played AD carry. This stands for attack damage carry. It means that you have high attack damage, but you're squishy, which means that you don't have much health, not that you're literally squishy. Usually this is paired with a support character, such as like a character that has barrier abilities or healing abilities, and then together combined, you're like a good team. The point being that you want to pick people that make up for your weaknesses, that can see blind spots that you don't see. Because if you have a diverse team, then you'll be all that much more stronger going forward. If you form a team with your best friends, it's fun, but if you guys all have the same strengths and weaknesses, then you'll have the same weaknesses, and take it from me, going through the business world right now, capitalism will take you out real fast. So diversify your teams. So for me and my startup, I have the clinical background, and I have also people that work on the machine learning, the web dev, and the business side. These are all the sides that I don't personally have. I should also mention my dog is part of the startup, but he just provides moral support, and I just want to let everyone know that that is valid, and that's okay, and you are valid. So yeah, pick your teammates wisely. You want to be different enough to learn from each other, but similar enough and sharing the same values so that you can move forward. Okay, the other thing is, every time I died in League of Legends, which is many times, anytime anyone dies, you can go shopping, not for shoes, but for items. These items can increase your attack damage or your attack speed, and the moral of the story is that you can level up, right? We are not static beings. We are all human. We are all capable of learning and being better. So every time you take a hit or lose a battle, or not die, but take a hit in real life, think about leveling yourself up. So for me, this took the form of learning how to code in R so I can analyze my data more quickly, working on antibiotic resistance mechanisms, or working on bacteriophages, which are viruses that attack bacteria. So just remember, we have wonderful mentors at the Hackathon and so many resources for you. Take advantage of it. Take this opportunity to level yourselves up. I definitely could not have survived the last 2 hackathons without these resources. So please feel free to reach out. All right. So finally, bringing us back to what brings us here today. So you are here, and the goal is to somehow improve healthcare. There's so many ways to do this, and to be honest, I don't know the best way to do it. I don't think anyone really knows what they're doing, but the important thing is to take the first step. So I want to congratulate everyone for being here and for being at the Pitt Challenge Hackathon, because this is the first step. The goal isn't to get it right the very first time. If anyone follows Sun Tzu, who writes Art of War, the goal is to be able to adapt and to take the first step and then learn things and then try again. And Pitt Challenge Hackathon is a wonderful jumping off point for that. I guess I'm a little bit biased because my startup came out of it, but I really think everyone here has the ability to create a startup out of what they create today. The last thing I'll say is there's something called an impact to effort ratio. So as you're deciding what you want to work on, think about what's personal to you. For me, in my life, it was cystic fibrosis. But there's systemic impact that impacts a lot of people. It's also very valid if you know someone with a rare disease and want to do something to help that. The key is to kind of be efficient, because you are all very smart, very, very important people, and your time is valuable. So, work smarter, not harder. Try to get the most impact for the effort that you put in. And one of the ways you can do that is by forming diverse teams and trying to think about efficiency. Okay, so I'll just end by summarizing. So, keep your eye on the goal. Get to know the battlefield. If you are a coding person and you don't know the battlefield, find someone clinical. Or talk to the mentors to look for the unmet needs, because that is how you will find the most impact. Make sure to choose your teammates wisely. I will say that one of my co-founders is someone I met randomly at the hackathon last year, and my other co-founder is an old friend from high school. So if you get the chance to branch out and meet strangers, I know it can be intimidating, but there's a lot of wonderful people here, and it's a great chance to connect and expand your network. So I'll just throw that out there. And then finally, don't forget to level up and take this chance to learn and enjoy yourself. So in conclusion, you're awesome. Go forth and conquer. Please feel free to reach out. I'm happy to talk to anyone. Would love to. So yeah, thank you so much for your time.
Thank you. What a wonderful representation about what each and